Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
tú ya ni te acuerdas de mí, porque un clavo saca otro clavo. Sé que te fallé, pero wey, no te vayas de mi lado. Dormí en tu culo, mi baby, ahora sin ti se me hace raro. Me desperté, pero todo ha cambiado. Y ya ni me aguanto si no voy ciego, pero te pienso siempre que veo. Baby, don't call, yeah. Como los de antes nos vemos luego. Sabes que nunca fuiste una más y que me encanta como lo hacemos, pero yo no me aguanto ese culo de supermodelo. Y la doy all night, pero pienso en ti siempre. Voy tan high que ni puedo correrme. Dice que no piensa en mí, Sabes que lo nuestro no fue corriente. Encontré un love, pero no como este. Bebo de todo hasta quedar inconsciente. Y si tú piensas en mí, don't cry. Tú nunca confías en lo que diga la gente. Yeah, voy ciego y te puedo ver, Te silencio y no me vale de nada. Acabé en tu cuenta otra vez, Siempre que me acuerdo cómo te daba. Ahora me despierto con un culo diferente cada mañana. Siempre que te enteras me pides que te cuente, pero no recuerdo nada. No vale la pena llorar por esto, porfa baby don't cry. No vale de nada pensar en la pena, más es lo que hay. Bebo hasta que me olvido de todo, aunque nunca me olvido mi error. Ay, ay, ay. Y la doy all night, pero pienso en ti siempre. Voy tan high que ni puedo correrme. Dice que no piensa en mí, Sabes que lo nuestro no fue corriente. Encontré un love, pero no como este. Bebo de todo hasta quedarme inconsciente. Y si tú piensas en mí, don't cry. Tú nunca confías en lo que diga la gente. Baby, don't cry. 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 Said I will find you, but it's not the time to make a mistake. You're calling out the name, I'm falling down again. You're calling out the
This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy and other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
New faces are set to make their debut on the world stage, and former champions are ready for another run, and it's anybody's game. In a year already full of upsets and surprises, it's time for the next chapter of VCT. Hello, everyone, and welcome to day one of Masters Madrid. We're coming to you live from the Madrid Arena for the first global event of the year. I am your host, Yingsu, and I'm delighted to be joined on the desk by Mimi and Kukuka. ¿Qué pasa? We're in Spain, finally.
Bienvenidos a España. Yo creo que podemos hacer todo el programa en español y si no os enteráis de nada, pues simplemente os echamos.
I agree with everything she just said.
Vale.
Spain's great thus far. This city is beautiful. I think the crowd is going to be amazing. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. But we are changing the game in 2024, and Masters Madrid will have a standard, will not have even a standard double elim bracket. Check out this quick format explainer brought to you by the one and only Mixwell.
Get ready. From March 14th to March 24th, the best Valorant players in the world will converge for Masters Madrid. The first global event of the 2024 Valorant Champions Tour will feature 8 teams representing the 4 international leagues. Teams earn qualification for Masters by finishing top 2 at their respective kickoff tournaments. Masters will be split into 2 parts, the playoff bracket and the all-new Swiss stage. First up, we have the Swiss stage, which will narrow the competition from 8 teams to the top 4. To advance out of Swiss, teams will need to secure 2 wins before they accumulate 2 losses. Each match will be a best-of-3 series. Before the tournament, participants will be drawn into 4 matches. In the first round, we'll see teams who won their kickoff events face off against all the second-place team finishers. No same region matchups allowed here. Those who win round 1 will move up, and those who lose will find themselves in elimination matches. Between each round, 2 fully random draws will decide who plays who, and from here on out, regional fratricide is fair game. After 3 rounds of Swiss competition, we'll have our 4 playoff bracket contenders. A random draw will pair the competitors. A double elimination bracket will narrow them down, and will close out with a best-of-5 series in the lower and grand finals. The last team standing will be the Masters Madrid champion. Mark your calendars, tune into the action, and catch the grand finals on March 24th for an exclusive preview of Valorant's next agent, followed by a show match to see them in action for the first time. For more information and updates, visit ValorantEsports.com and follow us on social media. Get ready for the ultimate clash of Valorant at Masters Madrid.
Oh, Mixwell, I am so ready. There's a lot to unpack there, but let's talk about the new Swiss format. Because, Mimi, we have never seen this at a global event before.
Yeah, it's very similar to the old GSL format where it's you have to win 2 before you lose 2. But what's interesting is the opponent you play is randomized. So it makes it a lot harder for the teams to prep for their future matches.
Yeah, exactly. But I think this is the kind of competition that we wanted to see. We get the seed 1s versus the seed 2. And, of course, we're very surprised that some of the usual suspects are not here in Madrid. So I think that this tournament is going to be definitely one that
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy the amount of teams you would expect to be here that aren't. E.g. the champion from last year, Fnatic, the team who won every other event last year. You have DRX, you have NRG, all the mainstays of global, for the most part, aren't here. This is really the year of young blood, of new teams stepping up to the global stage.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is it's chance for PaperX. PaperX, they haven't had a trophy yet.
They're one of the few who made it.
Yeah, with everyone else being not being here, this is their chance for sure. We're, of course, also playing on patch 8.04. It doesn't really have any major agent balancing or major tweaks. So, you know, I feel like we've already seen enough weird things that's been happening at kickoff. So I assume we will still see those weird things. Here, we've got a new format, of course, and the field is wide open. We want to know how you think this is going to play out in today's MasterCard fan poll. Which league do you think will bring home a trophy? Will it be Americas, China, EMEA, or Pacific? Scan the QR code on your screen to cast your vote, and we'll have the results in just a bit. And if you want your post on the broadcast, make sure to use the hashtags Valorant Masters and VCT. I'm just going to let you guys have it real quick. Which league is bringing home the first trophy of the year?
EMEA, but it's going to be a close final against Americas.
EMEA and nothing else.
Bea, this is the closest.
And nothing else.
No
I know
favorite.
anything can happen, okay? But they're the one being the biggest surprises. So
It's
only
no
fair.
favorite.
I will say Pacific or China, just to be different.
Except for that, that's
just
not.
to, you know, I'll throw my 2 cents in there. While we wait to hear what you guys think at home, let's hear from our resident know-it-alls. It is Bren and Saisho. They're here with some Swissology.
Never been wrong.
Welcome to Swissology. I'm joined here by the Prophet, Bren, and we're going to lay out for you how the Swiss system works and our predictions for what's going to happen. Part of it's random, so we're definitely getting this wrong. These are the opening matches. Bren, I want to start off by getting your expertise. Who wins Karmine Corp versus FPX?
Karmine Corp.
Okay.
It's all blue.
All right.
It's
okay.
all blue.
We'll turn the teams that are losing upside down. Yep. That's never gone wrong for us before.
No disrespect intended.
Not at all.
No.
Genji versus Loud. Who have you got winning that game?
Oh, Genji apparently have been dominating their scrims.
Owning.
Yeah, haven't lost a single scrim. I'll go Genji.
Okay.
I mean,
EDG
sorry, Loud
PaperX.
fans. EDG PaperX, I'll go VDG. I think EDG have shown higher peaks, but listen, that's controversial.
All right, and Sentinels against Heretics?
Again, I mean, Heretics could win, but I think it's going to be Sen.
Right, okay, so that sets us up for all of the teams on the left winning. Okay. So let's get them into 1 and 0.
So
they would be in round 2. Yeah,
Okay,
all right,
there's
so Karmine Core. Yeah.
Boom.
Who are they playing
Put
against?
that there for now. Who are they playing against? Give me another
Just
one
keep
team.
throwing.
Gen G, keep throwing. Okay.
Okay, right.
They might be Gen
Karmine
G,
Core
I
up
don't
here.
know. Okay, and then give me
Gen
another
G
winning
there.
team. EDG.
EDG Sentinels.
Another winning team.
Okay,
Where are
EDG playing against Gen G.
Okay.
So that means
And then
Sentinels playing against Karmine Core to open. Who wins? Send Karmine Core.
Send Karmine Core. That's such a hard one. I mean, dream matchup for me as well.
Pick.
Sentinels.
Sentinels win. Karmine
Sure,
Core upside
sorry.
down. Gen G. EDG.
Gen G.
Gen G win. EDG upside down. The 0 and 1 teams. Get them. Get them.
Whoa,
Loud.
whoa.
Paper
Loud.
X.
Paper X. I've picked up Heretics instead.
Well,
They
yeah,
go
okay,
there.
that's fine.
That's also fine.
Paper X.
Paper X.
They go down there.
And who else?
FPX.
FPX.
Who wins? FPX Heretics.
Heretics.
Okay.
Sorry, FPX.
Who wins? Loud. Paper X.
Loud.
Okay. And who goes through?
These are one-on-ones?
All right, these are the 1-on-1 teams. That means that Heretics, Loud.
Heretics, Loud.
Heretics. Okay. Loud
10 seconds. Heretics?
Against Heretics.
Again, what?
Karmine Core, EDG.
Karmine Core, EDG.
The Karmine Core's already there,
Karmine
man.
Core's already there. Come on, EDG.
Who wins? Who wins?
Karmine Core.
We're out of time, man. We're out of time. Who wins the whole tournament? Pick.
I want to think about it, actually.
Unbelievable. This guy is not the Lisan Al Gaib. Unbelievable. Yinsu, back to you.
If he's not the Lisan Al Gaib, we gotta find one.
We gotta
find one.
Swissology is my new religion. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
You're the Stilgar. You're the Stilgar of this test. You're gas in the mouth.
My religion is chronology.
I mean, they've never been wrong, right? They've never been wrong.
Except for, well,
but I mean, how right do you think?
I think that everybody at home guessed how we made the brackets, and we finally shown that it's just Brian smashing.
That is actually what the admin does in the back.
Yeah. It's actually Brett.
Yeah, he's the script writer. No, but not many people
He's
know
the
about
script writer.
this.
He's the admin. It's just him.
Yeah, well, let's see if they're going to be right about this first matchup of today, because Karmine Core will be taking on FPX. They did face each other at lock-in, but so much has changed since then. And Mimi, who would have thought that this team will be the one to come into this tournament as EMEA's #1 seed?
It's unreal. Last time these teams played, it was like the silly match, right? It was like, oh, no one's looking forward to FPX Karmine Core.
They are changing.
Yeah, now we're going back, and Karmine Core have completely reinvented themselves, rebuilt the team around Shin, and completely reinvented their style, and they dominate in EMEA. They played more matches than all the other teams in playoff. They beat Fnatic, they beat Foot, they beat pretty much every top team in EMEA except Na'Vi. They just look unbeatable right now.
And I think it's important to also say that Shin, it's not even that it was built around him. He also had to go through that trial process. He also had to be selected. And every single one of these players has a very specific mission in the team. And the way that they're playing, like, fundamentally, is just beautiful to watch. And they are one of the reasons that EMEA on itself, it's changing, and how everything is going to be different. And probably the reasons why we do not see the usual suspects here.
It's also a very different way to build a team. We saw, I think, last year when we started our international leagues, a lot of teams building super teams, focusing on getting the best players who have proven themselves. That wasn't K-Core. They picked up tier 2 players. Magnum hasn't played in tier 1 in ages. Neri was on the worst NA team in Challengers, and now he's dominating EMEA. It's all fresh talent on this squad, but they have made a monolith.
Yeah, and I have to mention the man that ties all this together. Any opportunity to talk about Gambit, I will take it, because N is back, and Kukuka, it is the same formula that saw him succeed the last time he was here.
Exactly. I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but Eng did it again. In Gambit, he picked up 3 duelists, gave them different roles, and created a super team. The same way that we were hearing Brent talking about how Gen G didn't lose his cream since they got to Madrid. Gambit was that team every single event. They couldn't perform in the international stage, but then it screams they were winning everything. And it's that formula, that hard work, that actually finding and studying the player, learning what is best for them and how you can get the best out of them, especially picking up so young, because it's so easy to, so difficult to unlearn things, that if you get these young guns that can shoot and are definitely willing to learn, you put Eng there, it's literally a win.
Exactly, right? This team wouldn't be the team they are today without strong leadership to develop it. You still have Zaish, who was with them last year coaching, but now he's built up with Coach Eng, and all these players, I mean, every time you hear them in an interview, they're talking about how impactful the coaching staff is at building them up, at making them the best players they can be, and also bringing up what I think is the forefront meta-leading compositions out of any other team here.
I mean, that's just what N does, right? Like you said, in every interview,
it's
even
crazy he wasn't on a team last year,
even the ex-Gambit players, you have an interview, Redguard with Shadows Chronicle, they still talk about N and what he told them as well. And I'm glad you mentioned the scrims, Bayer, because Zeish tweeted out shortly after they won, became the #1 seed of EMEA, just basically rehashing what happened with Gambit, just the fact that they played an obscene amount of scrims and they won them all.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was either Chronicle or Redguard, I cannot remember, but 3 years ago we saw them being like, oh, we played like over 700 scrims this year, something crazy. And it looks like this is part of the Eng method. This is one of the things that he does, and I think that it translates very well onto the officials, because the fact that they don't lose a scrim is that they only focus on improving their fundamentals and not focusing so much on the set plays, because it all comes together if you have that base.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I think we see that in the amount of practice, how well put together the initial ideas are, right? They're playing stuff no one else is, and the implementation of it is really good. But it's not just that, it's the synergy between this team. You watch them play, and you see in every situation, even when they're up, how intentional they are at setting up double swings, at putting each other in positions to make rounds that a lot of teams could let slip away unlosable. They are so methodical in their approach.
Honestly, my favorite thing about this whole narrative is they're just good.
True.
They're just really good. Like, what else can we say? And speaking of that, Kakuk and I had the privilege of watching Naray on LAN, EMEA, doing everything that he does, having the best performance there. Is this what you expected when you heard that he was coming over to the EU?
He was on... okay, just for context, he was on Mad Lions last year, a team that was one of the bottom... Nothing against York. We're in Spain. Can't say any of that. But one of the bottom 3 teams in Challengers North America. And then he comes to Europe. There's a risk taken on him by the coaching staff of this K-Core team, and he looks electric. You could see the potential when he was playing back in NA, but it was not unlocked until he was with this team. And Bea, the most impressive thing to me is that he's a young player. It's his first time on a top-level team like this, and he's not just playing duelists. The guy's flexing around so many different roles and is electric on every one of them.
And that is so important, Mimi, because the fact that he comes from being a duelist means that he knows exactly what a duelist needs to succeed, and he's going to be that kind of initiator that sets everything well for you. And when he's on the duelist, he knows exactly how to complement that. And going back a little bit to what we were talking about, Eng, Narrate was the player that he wanted the most out of all of them. After just talking to him for a couple of days, he was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do with you.
Yeah, I mean, the talent scouting from this team is unreal.
When the process was so long, you know how they, you have your interviews and everything. They took a lot of time. Obviously, Eng just loves to put a lot of time into everything that he does, into selecting these players, and he definitely has paid off.
I mean, think about what a risk that is, to see a player in Tier 2 North America not performing, ship them halfway across the world, move them to Berlin, apply for all their visas, sign them, pay them.
He has that
so
look.
Much,
he has that look.
All paid off.
Yeah, my favorite thing about that is after one scrim, one trial, and was like, yeah, you're not going to play duelists. Learn these agencies. Yeah, learn them and you're going to be the best. And speaking of Narrate, he gave us a little insight to the game plan, to their game plan even coming into this Masters. Take a look at this. Give everyone a reason to watch Madrid. Give them one reason as to why they should tune into your game.
We're just gonna peek everything.
Woo! Come on! We gotta give him a round of applause for that!
them day one.
Yeah, and on their map pool, 4 out of 7 of the maps they play, they're playing double duelist comps. All the other comp, or double dive comps, that is. It's not double duelist because they're playing arena or a chamber.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
like these guys have compositions that kind of remind me of like early days Paper X, where they just will put something ridiculous together and they will just run at you, but they have incredible aimers and solid enough synergy to make it work even against some impressive teams.
I mean, I'm glad that you guys mentioned Autumn as well, but I was sitting in the press conference yesterday just listening to some of the answers coming from Berlin. One thing that I am extremely impressed with and also a tiny bit concerned with is that Berlin is making all of his calls in Chinese and then translating himself into English before every round to make sure that Autumn knows what the game plan is. And he said that some of the other players are also chipping in with that communication, but he feels that the comms get really, really flustered when they are not sure if they're trying to speak Chinese or trying to speak English. But Mimi, the fact that they're making it work is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you have to give a little history on this guy, Autumn. He's the first player from OCE, the first Australian to ever qualify to a global event in Valorant, which is pretty cool to see that come through. But it is definitely a challenge, right? Moving up that language barrier for players who have only ever been speaking Chinese in comms. It's very different to have to make that change.
I mean, everyone is adapting. And speaking of a challenge, earlier I spoke with Autumn about the language barrier he's had to overcome and put him to the test. Take a look at this. Hello everyone, it's me here, Yingsu. I'm now joined by Autumn from FPX. Hi Autumn, welcome to an international event. Now, you joined a Chinese team last year, so I wanted to ask you about how are the comms, how's your Chinese going, what's it like to be a part of FPX?
Yeah, so to answer the question about the comms, it's I think it's pretty good now, but when I first joined the team, it wasn't like super good. There's a lot of like my other teammates trying to comment in English, and then sometimes in Chinese I didn't understand exactly what was going on. But now I think it's getting a lot better. Just some rounds in clutches, it's not perfect yet, but I think it's getting there. Like the more we play, the better it gets. I think within a few months, or like towards the end of this year, it will be like perfect.
Oh, are you studying hard?
I'm trying to, but when I'm coming to the event and like playing, I'm not really getting any lessons in there.
All right.
But
well,
before that, I had like 2 lessons a week.
Oh, that's quite a few lessons a week. I'm going to put your knowledge to the test. I wanted to see how good your Chinese really is. I'm going to give you a few words. Some of these came from your teammate, Life. Some of these came from the FPX fans. I'll start with what Life gave me. So I'm going to give you the words in Chinese. So you just have to tell me what you think it means in English. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 小心屁股.
Like what? Care flank.
Yes.
Care flank.
Yeah, perfect. Got a spot on. So that one came from Life. Now I got a couple of the ones from your fans. They wanted to test your Chinese as well. I'll start with an easy one. 秋天.
Autumn. My name.
Perfect. These lessons are great. 粉丝.
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 粉丝. I'm not too sure on that.
Like it kind of sounds like what it is in English if I give you a clue.
Fence.
Yes. Perfect. Fans. There we go.
Okay.
澳大利亚.
Australia.
Is there anything that you don't actually know? I feel like I need to make these a little bit harder. 队友.
队友. Like I know 队 is right. 队友. Like there's people.
Kinda, yeah, you're
There's
there,
a person?
Yeah. Like your people that you sit next to maybe when you play?
Oh, like teammate.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Lastly, I wanted to ask you a question. So I know the Chinese fans, they like to give players like quite cute nicknames. What do they call you? Do you know?
I think maybe Choutian or Ultraman. Like
Yeah,
Ultraman. Like Ultraman, but
Oh.
Ultraman. And yeah, maybe Choutian Ge, like Autumn Bro.
Oh, that's cute. And is there any Chinese words that you've particularly liked that you picked up since playing with FPX? Someone you say a lot, maybe?
漂亮.
漂亮.
Yeah, when someone makes a great play, it's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful, like pretty, beautiful. Yeah. I like it. Hopefully we'll see a lot of 漂亮 plays from you. Autumn, thank you for joining me and best of luck in this tournament.
Thank you.
Honestly, I know they're still trying to get their comms up to scratch, but his Chinese is really good.
I was surprised, but also knowing that, you know, he's playing on the jet, he's playing on the most explosive duelist, and he needs the most important comm, you know? He needs to communicate when he's going to go in, or he needs to be reactive to that information. You know, he may say that he doesn't speak it, but I was very surprised with the level that he showed.
The thing is, though, that it's very different sitting in an interview on a couch versus all of these words being yelled constantly in hectic comms. It's definitely really hard not just to adjust to a new language, but to adjust to it in that environment of a live match.
Yeah, I can't wait to see if they're going to be able to bring us as well when we get to see them on stage. But speaking of new things, Life, we've seen him on the international stage before. Kakuga, he is back, and what is he bringing to this roster?
Yeah, exactly. After his team not making it through Ascension, he joins this team, and he's like the other half for Autumn when we talk about the duelist and when we talk about a little bit more of a passive aggression, to say it in some sense. And he's going to be the Yoru player that we're going to be seeing for the most part. So he's taken not only that that duelist, that operator, he's also part of the initiation that this composition is lacking. His communication has to be very, very good, and he has to be in a lot of sync with the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. For Life, though, I think what you can always expect out of him is just electric performances. The guy is a fantastic aimer. He has been since the first time we saw him back with EDG. The thing is, with how this EDG team, or excuse me, this FPX team plays, they are very explosive. They're playing these double duelist comps. They take a lot of risks, and those risks rely on Autumn and Life being successful when they're going for these double entries, because there's a lot of times where there's not the normal initiator utility, not the normal player there to trade. They have to be good for FPX to win, really.
Yeah, and let's just talk about the Yoru. We mentioned it.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it more.
Both these teams.
Yes, but what kind of Yoru do we get out of them?
I think they're very different.
Yeah.
For Karmine Corps, they play Yoru kind of like half KO, half a jet, right? You're not seeing them very often go for like deep TPs into their opponent's spawn. Instead, they're setting up with Fade Yoru flash combos or double flash combos on the entry, and then diving in with the raise. On the other hand, Bea, FPX's Yoru is teleport wherever you please, go crazy, go ridiculous. It's a lot more chaotic, to say the least.
That's the thing. How is that chaos going to affect Casey way of playing, you know, like taking the duels in couples, being very methodical in how to approach the retakes, for example. I think that FPX is going to be on the surprising side, and I think that that might be a big upset for them, and probably we'll have to, you know, call in some pauses being like, oh, what is going on? But hear me out. If someone can study a Yoru, is definitely Aang. I know that they know exactly what to expect from FPX.
The thing is, though, I think today for Karmine Corps, compared to their run in EMEA, where they're very prep heavy, they have a lot to kind of specifically counter strat teams and be ahead of the curve on. They're great at that, given the coaching staff of this roster. I think today is going to be a lot more reliant on just the individual players being able to adapt in the server and not getting flustered by the craziness of FPX. That's the thing. They'll drag teams down into the chaos.
Yes.
It even happened to EDG in the finals in China.
They're very comfortable with it. They will go with the fast rotations, with the fast decisions every single time. So that is the kind of thing that can get into your head and definitely get in the way of your plan. So let's see if Casey is ready for that.
Yeah, and remember, KC, still all these players really young. Most of them, their first year playing on the tier 1 level on a big stage like this in front of a crowd. FPX is a squad that applies a lot of pressure. Karmine Corps heavily favored to win this game, but I still think it'll be a test of how they can perform on the stage.
I mean, Naray wants to peak everything, so surely they're going to have to be ready, or other people
This might be the fastest match ever.
You just jinxed it. You just jinxed it. But it's time to get the results of our MasterCard fan poll. Earlier, we asked you which international league you think will win it all between Americas, China, EMEA, and Pacific. And I can reveal to you, it has been overwhelmingly Americas. 49% of you voted for Americas, 10% for China, 26% for EMEA, and only 13% for Pacific. Is this your doing, Mimi? Did you rally the troops?
Okay, let me just say, I literally said there is no favorite to win this tournament. I think the finals is Sentinels Karmine Corps. I think that is the hardest match to predict. I think that is such a hard match to predict. I think Americas looks great right now, though. Sentinels is in the best form we've ever seen from them. Loud, as always, is back at an international event. They're innovating. They have a strong new player in QCK, and they're living into Sonic's vision well. But I think EMEA looks great. I was so impressed with both Heretics
That's why you're wearing blue today.
Have a lot of
that makes so much sense.
Wait, what color is it, Yansu?
It is blue. It's blue. It's blue. And it might just come down to some mind games today as well. Coach N and Coach Nathan are standing by for map selection, so let's send it down and see where we're headed.
All right, welcome to Map Select presented by Omen. First match for this entire event. Congratulations to both teams for being here. Let's go ahead and get started. Casey, you are higher seed, Team A or Team B?
Team B.
Team B. So FPX, you will be Team A, and we will start with your first ban.
First one, Split.
Split. Your ban, Casey?
Ban Breeze.
You ban Breeze. So map number 1 from FPX.
Pick Icebox.
Icebox. Side on Icebox.
Defense.
Defense. And map number 2 from Casey.
Big Lotus.
Lotus. Side on Lotus.
Attack.
Attack. And then we will go into the next set of bans, starting with FPX. You have Ascent, Bind, and Sunset.
Ban Band.
Ban Bind. And then your ban, you have Ascent and Sunset.
Ban Ascent.
Ban Ascent. Map number 3 by default is going to be Sunset. FPX, side on Sunset.
Attack.
Attack. All right. Great, guys. Good luck to you both.
And now, Bea, Casey, they won't get the split, but they will get that Lotus. And this is where in the final we saw them absolutely dismantle.
Yes.
Fnatic, they look so good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they have a very good flexibility and that understanding that maybe that head-to-head could go on the favor of KC, so let's just forget about it and just go somewhere completely different. And I think that Icebox is going to be crazy because for the side of KC, they were the one team that decided to keep that Sage in the composition out of all of EMEA and keep it a little bit more traditional when we're talking about probably two of the most untraditional teams that we have here.
Honestly, out of most of the world, most teams are moving away from the Sage comp, but I actually still think it's really good. They're playing the old last year default comp, just subbing out that Sova for the Gecko. Reason for that change, drone nerf, map changes, makes it a lot harder to clear B main. Gecko, there's so many positions on attack. You can refresh that Dizzy. You can re-clear in the mid round. His ult is also really powerful and very farmable on Icebox. I think that's sick. You can also combine the wall with the wingman to plant. They have really good ideas with this comp. On the other hand, FPX are playing Reyna Jet.
Yeah, Reyna, Jet, Gecko, and double controller. Without a Sentinel, we can expect, for example, on mid, someone is going to have to completely, literally, you have to put a man there to control the space. Probably is going to be the Geckos just to throw a little bit of utility, but it definitely makes things complicated to dwell around the map. Now in the attack, just try break the Dizzy and the Leer at the same time. Just try.
Is that it?
And then a Paranoia will appear.
Oh gosh, I can't wait, I can't wait. I feel like, I mean, I set it up as possible mind games.
Crazy.
And I think the mind games were played well. This is it. The wait is over. Our teams are ready. And it's time to kick off the first global VCT event of the year. It's Carmichael versus FPX. Gen G versus Loud. Day 1 of Masters Madrid starts right now.
So this is how it's gonna go. Americas is all about the noise and the volume. We're gonna end on a decisive 13-3 victory with a knife kill to close out the match. Then, when it's time to celebrate, we're not even gonna shake hands. Just leap on the table, lick the trophy, and fight it to make sure it's real.
Tunay? Gusto mo ba malaman kung anong tunay? Ito ang mangyayari. Magaling sa control at pagiging aggressive ang Pacific. Maaaring isuko namin ng ilang rounds, pero tatapusin namin ito sa 13-10 na panalo at jet knives sa buong mapa. Sisiguruhin namin yayakapin ang mga kalaban dahil kakailangan nila ito. Liyuko kami bilang pasasalamat sa mga tagahanga habang inaangat namin ang trophy. Hindi ba maganda?
远不如 CN 赛区选手的精准度、爆发力。其他队伍休想拿下任何一胜，我们将以是3-0完胜，并以判官团灭掉对手，结束比赛。当我们在欢呼中举起奖杯时，我会仁慈地感谢对手所做的牺牲。Son teorías interesantes. Ahora para nuestro 1, 2, 3, 4. Sexto trofeo.
Welcome to Masters Madrid.
America's interview, take one, marker.
I like the flames.
Thank you. I'm pretty hot right now. You know the meme with Arnold Schwarzenegger that is like, yeah, like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's better.
Será que nós é rockstar mesmo? Eu não sei.
What makes America's the most competitive region?
I would say we have the best duelist in the world, for sure. We have Aspas, we have now second. QCK is proving himself. And we also have a lot of world champions. We have one on your team, for example. So make us great for sure.
Historically speaking, a lot of good IGLs in Americas as well.
I love how you are playing more women now, insane TPs.
Definitely, like, your team is, like, I would say, like, scary to play against because you have, like, world caliber players, world caliber strats.
I'm super happy you guys are here representing NA with us.
I think Masters Madrid is going to be absolute cinema.
More like absolute defeat. Director's cut.
Celebrity coming through.
Forsaken, you look pretty cool.
Really? Yeah, I look some like superstar, you know?
Can you guys tell me about the Pacific playstyle?
되게 미친놈들처럼 게임을 하고 공격성도 있으며 일단 디테일이 가장 좋은 것 같아요, 보시피.
I think sometimes we can play like 5 duelists, 3 duelists, maybe even no duelists. It doesn't matter, you know, because we always press W.
Are you guys going to take down America's in Madrid?
Maybe. I mean, they kind of beat us before, so maybe some revenge, you know?
페이퍼렉스요? 진짜 너무 사랑스럽고 소중해요. 진짜 빛 그 자체? 젠지 파이팅!
The EMEA regions, I would say our strongest part is the balance between macro and aim.
We actually are the future of EMEA. It's Fnatic and Navi, we're both top 2 in EU. We both knocked them out. It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Congrats to making it there.
Thank you, man. You're expecting Boaster, right? Spanish org, Spanish crowd and everything. I feel like it was destined that Heretics were at Madrid's.
Here we go. Ready?
People, they think it was a fluke. We're gonna show them that it's not. It's time for the new generation to take over.
Hey, you got this, bro. One of us will make it to the finals, mate, I promise you.
今天特别开心，能够跟FunPlus他们一起来到这里跟他们拍摄，然后今天也能跟 Life 在一起，然后在马德里又相见了嘛。
In your opinion, what makes VCT China so competitive?
我看法是因为我没有看康。
然后更多的爆发力，还有那些不被他们所预测到的那些东西。我觉得 VCT 大家的这个环境都挺好，不仅是你跟我，是整个环境其实也更像一个家庭 family 那种感觉，对，兄弟。
खेल ही बैठे हो बाबा तुम तो इतना खेला हूँ मैं भगवान इतना बुरा हूँ मैं
Muito feliz que estamos aqui, internacional juntos, muito tempo, cara.
अरे सही है ट्राई करो
Final América contra América.
एसेंचर में हो 2 साल मुझे ही मारने हैं सब कुछ करो डेट पक्की हो गई तुम्हारी डेट पक्की हो गई बढ़िया बात करिए कुछ फ्लैट व्लैट की। वही जाके देखेगा। फ्लैट अमीर हो रहे हो क्या? फ्लैट ही लेके मानोगे? रिची रिच रिची रिच। सही है मस्त। लमडियां हो तो बुला लेना। समझ गया ना? गुड गुड। लमडे हो। हाँ सही चल रही है। लमडे हो तो मत बुलाना। लमडे हो तो लंबा डिलीट कर देना मेरा। अबे भाई कम तूने वो देखा डेविन के बारे में? एआई बोट सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर। हाँ एक कंपनी उन्होंने नया SW निकाला सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर इंजीनियर है वो स्पेशली इसीलिए बनाया वो। हाँ 1 साल के बाद पता नहीं बाबा तुम भी जमीन पे और हम भी जमीन पे साथ में बैठे हैं। अब तो उनकी तो ऑलरेडी कंपनी है ना वो हम क्यों रखे। जब तक मैनेजर बनना पड़ेगा बाबा। जल्दी ही मैनेजर बनना पड़ेगा अगले मतलब 3-4 साल तक तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला।
They've done something incredible by beating the best in EMEA,
कॉल आ
the
गया
biggest
मुझे।
champions from that region. But now it's new pressure, it's new opponents, it's new styles on a big stage. And FPX, if they are one thing, they are a team that can surprise, they can push you off guard.
And every single team, because of the opponents that they're going to be facing, are so hungry to be the winners of this tournament. You were saying it, Mimi. Anybody can win this tournament. The favorites are very, in the air. Anybody can take this game. And I think the FPX is hungry, is devoted to change our minds, to just not thinking that China is just EDG.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of rookies this year, It seems like the rise of all the rookies, but it's been such a long time since N was on this stage. And just to remind you, the 2 tournaments that N made globally, he won one of them and he reached a final to the other one. So he's got a lot to prove coming into this as well.
I mean, technically the next one he's going to get grouped, or what is he's not making it to playoffs? He's going down one.
No. Hey. I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life.
For FPX, it's been a while since they've been on an international stage. This team has represented at previous events, but they didn't make it to Champions, the big event at the end of last year. They made some changes, picked up stars into this year, and I think are looking better than they used to, but still have that same identity, right? They play weird comps, and Icebox is no different. They're playing a Jet, Reyna, Gecko composition.
Well, at least we expect so.
Yeah.
Could you imagine changes?
They could definitely change it. They've had time to do so.
I mean, we've seen that already, right? Teams are starting to adopt the Na'Vi way of having multiple comps on one map. I don't think they will change anything coming into this, but Mimi, it will very much disrupt their preparation if they did.
It absolutely will, but this event had very low turnaround time for the teams that went deep, especially for a team like KC, who played so many matches. They had to go through the group
needed
stage,
the reps,
through
the
the play-ins, through the playoffs. Like, there really hasn't been a huge amount of time to turn around new ideas, which is why I again think that today, in a match like this, it's really going to come down to adaptation, to the leaders and the servers, and not necessarily the coaches in the prep ahead of time.
I think it's going to be all about exploiting the weaknesses, and I can see a lot of them in the FPX comp. The way that you have to play it, the way that you have to default, having, as I said, someone always in the middle. We do not see many teams playing 2-1-2 on a map. This is not New York, by the way. But,
and as we can see from the agent select here, what do you guys make of this?
I mean, it's what we expected, right? I think looking at Carmen Core starting on defense, their biggest strength with this composition is their retakes. They have Sage Wall and Wingman to get on that spike, and they have good flash utility with that Dizzy to fight forward. FPX, I think, need to be taking space past the spike site if they're planting on B, or holding forward on A, and kind of having a scaling defense where they start forward and move back to not fall victim to these retakes.
And I think it's so important what you're mentioning with the retakes, because that is what has made the difference for most of the teams, especially in EMEA. KC was the best. The protocols were the cleanest probably out of the entire world, the way that they were playing off of pairs and knew exactly what utility to invest. And again, exploiting the weaknesses even with the retakes. Out of this entire tournament, they have the highest success after the spike has been planted.
You have to watch this Jet head-to-head. Autumn and Martine, both of them prospects at their first international event on the star roll for Icebox.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. But that is enough from us. I know there's been two gentlemen waiting in the flanks, waiting a very, very long time to cast Carmichael. Give a warm welcome to Bren and Sideshow.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. Yeah, I'm going to let loose an Ale Le Bleu at some point, maybe, potentially.
We'll
Bias casters online, mate. I mean, I don't know. We'll get into it. It's Madrid here, the Swiss stage, day one to get us started. Carmen Core versus FPX. You know, you've got potentially quite a one-sided matchup here on paper, but a real chance to potentially show some of that parity that might be there at these international events. I mean, Magnum has spoken in press interviews as well, talking about how, you know, they're familiar, I think, with the way that FPX are going to be playing, but they're not going to be coming into this underestimating a team like FPX.
No, certainly not. Magnum quoted in the press conference saying it's Valorant, anyone can lose. Here we go then, into the pistol round, and Carmen Core have 3 players up towards A. Anticipating this space control perhaps, but FPX are not committed with it.
Not quite. Flash to clear with the Dizzy, all combined up. That's going to be the dash active now for Martine. Using that in the responsive, but there's no go button pressed here for FPX. Keen to just wait this one out on the opposite side of the map. Autumn went poking around, and he managed to catch Tomazy. Good opening here. I mean, it does open up the B side entirely. A repeat from Live. He's got the heal online, but Martine returns with the kill. Nice trade.
Lysor didn't buy the orb in this round, so having to use the wall in order to escape there, that means there's going to be no wall placed down over towards B. So Carmen Core are going to have opportunities to try to deny this plant, though they are players down.
That's true with the paranoia here, FPX. A lot of the sight lines blocked off.
Now look at this, the Omen smokes are lovely for them to take more aggressive positions on site.
Carmen Core all up towards Kitchen, doubled up here, but just picking and choosing their battles at the right time.
They have no idea.
They have no idea where they're being shot from. Through the grates here, one player left standing, it's Lysor. We'll see what they can do. Snake bites, at least one connection, but the wall's up in their face. They've got to really just get a move on as well, wrapping all the way around here. Shin sticking the defuse here for the pistol round. It's all Carmen Core.
And that's the power of that retake. It's what the devs were talking about. Carmen Core look so good in those kind of situations, but really, the retake wasn't even where the danger was averted for FPX. It was the fact that Magnum was able to pick off 2 from this angle. I mean,
yeah, looking all over the place. Look at it. I mean,
is completely lost
on us with them.
And this is where you might start to see the cracks in FPX, because they've talked about the fact that the language barrier has been an issue for them, a really big one in the past. Berlin said in the press conference he's having to repeat the communications twice a lot of the time in English and in Chinese so that everybody on the team's on the same page. That's going to introduce delays, and it was an unusual position anyway for Magnum to be taking that fight.
The pistol round secured, deep Omen smoke. Magnum has to body check a lot of this space, really. There was some danger there, but clears out towards mid, knowing that nobody's lurking.
And those lurks are going to be a pretty important part of how FPX creates threats on the attack side. Smokes from Lysor and Berlin need to be dealt with. And sometimes that's going to require face checking, and when there's opponents hiding inside smokes, that's a great way for teams to get upset wins.
Yeah, here we go. Offload into util here with the Dizzy. Play's not been pushed off from the backwards positions, though, out towards the back and aside. It's a nasty and messy spray. No kills collected there, but only just for life here with the heal online. But now reinforcements are here, finally arriving. Multitudes of targets to pick from, but really Carmen Core coming up green in the kill feed.
Blue, surely.
I mean, well, okay.
Some kind of teal.
It's a teal. You could make the argument.
Yeah, easy cleanup despite it looking a little laboured there from the right early on. And now FPX, first round where they can do some serious damage after the pistol. 5 Vandals facing off against KC, who have 3 Bulldogs online as well. Clear weaponry advantage for FPX, especially down these longer angles, so they might want to take over towards B. And defaulting the Viper wall, A, at the start of this round. Not quite the same as they did on the pistol, because this time we've got that Viper orb coming down mid too.
Does have that threat of potentially working their way through into mid. Core lovely. Would love to set their sights onto a bonus round conversion. as you said, longer fights to be taken with the rifles of FPX, and they're cautious just at the beginning, initially here. Don't want to run into things. Omen Smoke now propped up, will divide up the site and allow them to start to take a bit more of that space once they clear through the appropriate positions. But we're almost down to a minute on the clock.
And they haven't created too many threats in mid either.
Almost betrayed there by the ponytail, but Shin gets away with it.
And Berlin with nobody there to try to support. The IGL gets picked off with no advantage, no possibility of a trade, no information.